David and Alex, or is it Alex and David? Which is the correct way to do this?
I prefer
David.
Alex and David. No, I prefer Alex and David.
Well, there you go. I'll start with Alex first. Alex, how is your day going aside from answering the same 5 questions over and over and over again from journalists?
Well, that's the tricky part. It's good when I do it right, and it's frustrating when I want to redo sometimes. I'll be, oh God, because weirdly enough, I think hearing the same things over and over, you tend to kind of not really listen to yourself, and you go, oh wow, that wasn't the best way of saying what I was trying to say.
You're a professional. I'm sure it's all great, and welcome to the cast. How long did you have to keep it a secret that you were joining up on Industry?
And there was no rule. I don't have that many friends. I told the few people in my life that I needed to tell, and then off I went. But yeah, there was no like NDA or anything like that.
Cool. Usually when you do these, people say big things are coming soon, but they're under that deadline.com embargo or that Hollywood Reporter thing, and they can't talk about it. So you were free and clear, and that's awesome. And before I throw my first question at David, I'm curious, Alex, how much of Danny is there in you?
We just got this one, man. This is wow. I think everyone on the show has parallels. I think by choice. I think the writers are looking to find what is interesting about all of us and put that in front of the world. So I mean, I'm not rich. I'm not a stockbroker. I can't afford to live that way.
Yet.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We'll see. So yeah, I mean, there's aspects to what that life is that are completely foreign to me, and then there's personality traits and quirks that I think are very much my own. So yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think, David, you have the same thing. I think that's what.
The question was directed at you, dude.
well, like that was a wonderful response from Alex. But I'm curious, David, when you first got this role, how much did you know about the financial world, and how much training did you need related to getting into character?
Oh man, absolutely zero. I knew nothing about finance. I knew nothing about stock. If anything, I was kind of subverse to it because I come from a working class family in East London. We kind of look at people with money generally as a little bit like, what do you know that we don't?
Right.
Which is that's a bad trait anyway. But that's my family, so immigrants. So, but I mean, I guess in terms of the training, I wanted to learn everything. As an actor, that's just the kind of actor that I am. Like, even if I'm not saying it, I kind of want to know what it means. Just to give this world as rich a flavor as possible, and obviously paint Gus as vivid as possible. So, and we had a wealth of sources. The writers, Mickey and Conrad, who know this world inside and out, really gave us so much everything that we needed, and we had the producers and the directors who came on board and would just continue to help us along the path of saying the words that we needed to say, and most importantly, doing what we needed to do. So I felt very supported. Yeah.
When you're great in a role, sometimes people have a problem separating you from the character. I'm curious, David, if since becoming part of Industry, that any financial people have come up to you on the street and tried to pick your brain about finances because you're so convincing.
Do you know, it's so funny because I'm only I'm a young actor, and I watch stuff like this. Like what you're doing with me is what I'd watch like actors that I admire and be like, I just want to know like what it's like. I'm not, you almost don't believe them when they say like, yeah, this guy stopped me in the street and asked me like an actual question about being a gangster, and it's like, what is it really? But legit, like legit, people will stop me and will be like, oh, so what do you think about GameStop? And I'm like, dude, I have no. Don't put your money on that. So no, it's I take it as I'm humbled by it because people clearly care about this show and think it's very authentic and enjoy what it's channeling, which is you know, these young people just playing with big boy, you know, big things, and there's truth to it. I also get the reaction, by the way, I was just saying, I also get the reaction where people start to talk to me and then realize very quickly that I'm nothing like Gus, and I'm like, oh well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. and you know, in doing that, I'm kind of like, well, it's good. I guess I think I'm maybe doing my job a little bit right and painting him as who he is, and stay keeping apart the other part of myself. But there we are.
Alex, coming back to you here, I find that whatever people do for a living, that's when they're with their peers, the least that they talk about. They avoid that topic, that subject, as much as possible. What's your common ground with the rest of the cast? Sports people, music people, if I can generalize with that question.
Acting, I think, you know.
Really? So the craft is largely spoken about when you're not acting.
Yeah. I mean, that's not I wouldn't say the craft. Not like we're like, you know, doing Meisner exercises, but just like, you know, performers or things that we like, or performance styles, or, you know, it's like art. Like, I like this kind of painting. I don't like that painting. Why not? I think those are great things that we can be passionate about and actually relate to. Yeah, because, you know, football, I sometimes I would, you know, they talk about football. I don't, David's like.
Oh, clarify, are we talking about English football or American football?
Okay,
My question.
No, Alex, go ahead.
You know, I'm like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do with that? I think so. There was a lot of things of that nature. I learned, what's it called?
GarageBand, the audio editing.
No, see, that's where I would have gone. So I think there's like garage, like, you know, I'm so ignorant. Dave,
No,
you know,
go on.
Stormzy and like,
garage. You're talking about garage.
Garage. I call it garage.
That too.
That's so good, man. That's so good.
So there's a lot of cultural. I mean, I got the name wrong.
No, but can I just say that's what was so good about having Alex on set as well. Like, Alex brought a new energy to all of us, you know. And with the second season of any show, I'm assuming, because it's my second season, but second season of a show, you can just kind of feel stilted a little bit, or, you know, you've done that before, and Alex will come and be like, okay, what is all this Britishism you guys are talking about? Like, let's take that down some. Let's add a bit of American in here. And we're like, no, like, absolutely not.
That's actually an interesting topic to me. So, Alex, I grew up reading music magazines from England as a kid. Even though I'm a New York person, I just always thought, hey, England is the forefront for what's great in music. In your case, how much exposure did you have to British culture growing up?
None, but I did go to school there for 3 years, weirdly enough, and then I hadn't gone back for 5 or 6 years. Never thought I would ever in my imagination come up with this. I'm going to go do a TV show. It made no sense to me. It still doesn't. But I was familiar with some of the terms, but even then in my stay there, I was quite isolated. So yeah, I hadn't really, because I was going to a conservatory. So I was kind of just I didn't really get to live in London. I was going to school in West London, but I didn't really get time to to get to know that culture in the way that I did during this trip. Because the way this show shot, I would shoot for 10 days and then I would have like a month off. So I'd be able to take a trip into London and really see it in a way that I didn't get to see it as a drama school student, because I was, you know, very focused on acting. I could really explore it and see Shoreditch, and it was a weird time too. You know, it was also, there were periods where COVID was very high, and I had to kind of just be on my own and explore the city. I couldn't really. And then it would dip down and I would be able to go and meet more people. But I was kind of exposed, and I feel like now, you know, I know garage music. That's it, right, David? Garage music.
Garage. I'm sorry, bro. Garage.
Yeah. You know,
Wow.
play a little bit of football So yeah.
Well, speaking of music, and as a person who covers music and interviews musicians all the time, David, do you have a favorite artist of all time?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, music to me is next to acting in terms of how much I love it. And you know, my dad was a musician. He did some jazz, and yeah, I love music. I can't give you a favorite musician of all time, but I can give you like someone who I think is one of the goats is Kendrick Lamar, man. He's Mr. Morale. It's just everything that guy drops is serious to me. Yeah. So yeah.
Have you ever gotten to see Kendrick Lamar live? I know he was just at Glastonbury.
He was just at Glastonbury, but I was working and so I couldn't get to see him. It would be a dream to one day see him. Like I would sacrifice a job to go and see him because I just think he's special, man. So yeah.
That's funny that you should say that, because an earlier interview I did today was with the actor Douglas Booth, and every year he goes to Glastonbury, and I said, "Hey, so who's the best person you saw there?" And he said Kendrick Lamar, and he told his agent every year, "Do not book me any work during Glastonbury." So it's funny you said that same exact thing.
That's the dedication right there. Douglas Booth is ahead of me, so what I'm saying, I'm too young and green. I'm gonna get like him and tell him no one booked me during Glastonbury. I'm unavailable. Makes sense.
Well, same question at you, Alex, before I let you gentlemen go. Favorite music or musicians? Can you hit me to something?
Like you want a new group? I mean, I listen to Tupac all the time. That's just the shit. Like, you know, what's weird though is like I show that to people I gotta ask David a question. What do you think? Because I showed my friends in the UK Tupac, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to them. They're more like that. Kendrick and J. Cole they get, but Tupac, they're like they respect it, and I think it has to do with like because Cali culture is so specific, and Tupac is like California, like you know that.
Bro, 100%. I'm gonna tell you straight out. Like, if you talk to me about Tupac, I'm like, that's dude. You can't talk about like. Yeah, like I mess with him so hard, like so hard. But that's me. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure you would kill me at what Tupac terminology and more. But dude, that's he created the culture, man. Like he is one of the reasons. Anyway, I can't. Let's just you go.
When you say that you're related to Tupac, does it go way back to the Digital Underground stuff too, like the Humpty Dance, or is that just too old person for you?
No, it goes back not that far for me. It's like he had this one album called Me Against the World, and that's real early, and that's like super soulful and very much, you know, he's just such a weird personality of passion, of anger, of like being gentle to like being the most angry person on the planet. You know, like to me, he's so unpredictable. But some of his earlier stuff was a little bit less. I think that was before the first time he got shot. And
Yeah.
So you know, like it's interesting to look at his discography. I think that's the term, and see what he was going through in life and how his music evolved. Because as he got, and he was like 27 when he died or something like that.
Yeah, 25, 27. But
hey, man.
Bottom line is congratulations to you both on excellent work for season 2. Hope there's a season 3, and just keep up all the greatness, both of you.
Cheers, man.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.